it's like any relationship, like you said.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be any different from a healthy working relationship as well. And to be able to go out and deliver such a service and to be able to work in that context every day would require some real consistency internally and also within the team.
Yeah.
I mean, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's he's a mental health worker in another city, and he said, I've just had to develop my own inner peace. And he said that I've just gotten better at what I do by just becoming really patient and not feeling like I need to do anything. And sitting in front of someone who might be saying that they want to commit suicide and not feeling like I have to do anything, but just sit there and listen and be calm. And I thought that's beautiful. That's extraordinary.
That is definitely, yeah.
But anyways, I'd be curious to hear how that looks in the team, and how do you guys discuss that, and how is that part of the process of the work?
Well, I like what you said, because that is really true. You got to kind of develop this inner peace, this inner kind of inside you.
There's sort of detachment there as well. I mean,
yes,
a detachment
I hear you,
to protect yourself, but an interest at the same time. Is that?
Yes, I think when I started to professionally get into this area of social work and so on, I used to do counselling for Childline, and that's before I went to university to study social work. And I used to hear young people just saying, okay, I'm going to commit suicide, I put down the phone. Oh my God, you know?
You could handle that.
I just used to sit there like, you what? You know? And, just like, what do I do with this? And I just like pray, God, please, oh, please don't let it. I come out, I just wanted to have a big hug. I didn't care who from. I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. And I said, I just can't do this. I was like, I can't do this. Like,
how long did you last in that job?
Well, no, I stayed it in. I kind of fought through it. But I had to come to a place where, when I went into the social, I knew what I wanted to be from a young age, very young. I knew that I loved music, so I wanted to do something with music, and I knew I wanted to do something with the community and work in the community, and that's from quite young. So I knew where I wanted to go. And that's, a fortunate thing that doesn't always happen. But when I started to kind of, and I thought, I'm going to change the world. That famous line, I'm going to change the world. And then I realised I can't really do that,
A little bit more complicated.
Just a tiny bit. But then that experience and all of that taught me that actually, Maria, if I'm going to give to something, I'm going to give. If I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there.
You're a committer.
I'm a committer. I'm going to be there. Not somebody that's going to be in your face. I'm just going to be silently there.
Yeah.
Can
you teach that?
I think it's a character thing, maybe.
Right.
But I think you can develop those things. But I think I'm going to be there. I'm going to see it through. And I think I had to say that, Maria, as long as you could go home and know that if that was you, if that was your family, if that's somebody that you really care about, do it, work with someone like that. If somebody's going to come in my life to try and do it, I want them to do it as much as I would want to be treated the way they would probably treat themselves. Do you see what I mean? And then I know that actually I've done the best that I could do.
So explain that then, that you would want to approach. So if you're going into someone's home, you would want to give as much as they're going to give to you? If I was
in their position, how would I want to be treated?
Right.
Everyone's different. It's a bit complicated because it's taking time to understand what would that person appreciate me doing right now? What does the situation require me to do? and then take that same ethos to say, actually, I've done the best that I could do. Because if it was me, if it was a family, I would have done the same thing there. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is quite a hard way to live your... It is, I mean, I love it.
You have to be very, very, very empathic. Like, you have to, like, really put yourself in the shoes.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're trying to do something.
Yes.
And there is, like, a bigger, like, overarching goal that encapsulates more than just that. That's just sort of like the approach there.
Yeah, I think it has. Yes, exactly. You have to be very empathetic and kind of say, if I was in their shoes, what would... Sometimes, I know this is how I work. Sometimes if somebody's telling me something, I'm actually there. I'm like, okay, how's that person feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would they need? How could I think about this in this way? That's what goes through my mind when somebody's telling me a situation. But then I have got a protection in myself to say, actually, I'm going to do my best to support that person. And I know that when I've left, I could go home and live my life and know I did the best that I could do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't want to live... Somebody said, live your life until you're empty.
Right, so
I
for you...
like that a lot.
Yes.
So there's a lot of meaning in making sure that you give everything you can.
I give what I can, and actually, but care for yourself, because
Sure.
caring for yourself is knowing your capacity, knowing what you can give. This is my capacity. This is what I'm able to do. I can't do any more than this, but I know if I can't do it, I know where that could be, and then I'm gonna go home knowing I did all that I could do.
Yeah. How have you been able to develop those boundaries? Because I think like what Joao was saying is probably relevant for a lot of people. It's definitely for me as well. Like I probably also had at some point, and probably still doing this, trying to find out where the boundaries are, and maybe you know having to push beyond where it's the right place just to feel when it's too far, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but I would be curious to hear how you do that with work, because obviously the work is very intensive. It can be probably quite emotionally draining. I'm sure, quite fatiguing at times. And obviously, you're a mother as well, and you've got to deal with your own responsibilities as a parent. So for you, how have you been able to develop those boundaries, and what did that look like for you to be able to kind of maintain yourself?
I think
Yeah, sir, and I'm guessing also that you would need to kind of develop that like pretty fast.
Oh, you burn out. You'll be doing it.
Well, it's probably quite iterative. I imagine you test things, and you can't stop going. You know.
I think it's knowing. It's knowing as much as you can know about yourself. And knowing your capacity. What my capacity is very wide, but might be very small to someone else. So it's knowing your capacity, knowing what is it that you can give, and you know that when you give to that capacity, you've done all that you could do, and be okay with that. And also, it's all right to say no. I can't do that. That took a long time for me, because the first time I said no to somebody that was quite dear to me, I cried. I went away and cried, because I'm like, how did I say? But I had to say no, because I had to say, actually, Maria, loving yourself is more important. Because if you love yourself and know your capacity, you're going to give from a healthy place. You're not going to give from a place that is going to subtract from who you are and hurt you and cause you to be down and out. Because down and out is not going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's too much that I need to do. There's too much responsibility. So it's knowing yourself, it's loving yourself, and knowing your capacity.
Yeah.
And also knowing where your source is. Where do you get your strength from? Mine's faith. So I tap into that. I tap into that place, because that's where that's where I find myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's...
Another thing also, sorry. Also, for me, I think that when I'm talking with people that I care about, and we were just talking about this earlier, like it's also important to say no because you love them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. No,
And
you're
that
so
is the
right.
best way to actually show them that they are important enough so that you don't let them do anything and everything that they want to do, because that can be really destructive.
Yes, that's so right. And I think it's also about, sometimes if you're somebody that gives a lot, your giving can start to disable someone. You know, disable them to see what they can do for themselves.
Yeah.
Get them to think about it. You know, and so I think that's been
resentful as well.
Is that, yes, and that's when you're depleting from yourself. That's when you know you're taking from you, and be okay to care for yourself and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah.